Hello, everyone, and welcome to Personal Selling. My name is Louis Zmick, and I am your instructor for this class. And a little bit about me, just real quick. I am a third-year doctoral candidate. My research focuses on marketing, sales, technology, and social media influencers in this digital space. Specifically, how sales relates to those fields and how we communicate to each other in a digital sense. So this lecture series is designed to walk you through the nuances, the strategy, and the technique used in the 21st century in the digital era from a selling perspective. What this course is not designed to do is to teach you how to be the best used car salesperson. This is not to teach you how to be the best mall vendor out looking to sell you hand cream or some of that nonsense, right? This is new age selling techniques that people use against salespeople, that buyers use, as well as how salespeople can use those techniques to secure long lasting relationships and to build value together. Okay, so this class is designed to do a couple things. And so if we look at personal selling here, personal selling, okay? So this is designed to do three things. So point number one is self-reflection. So this course is really going to challenge the way that you look at salespeople and the way that consumers make decisions. This class is not going to teach you high pressure, high stake negotiations because those are not necessarily what correlates to big ticket sales as you'll see in spin selling. And so this course is more designed to build your skills and challenge the way that you look at salespeople. A lot of you may be coming into this class thinking a few things. You may be thinking that salespeople are pushy, maybe a bit sleazy, and maybe they lie. They are liars, right? A lot of people think that of salespeople. The traditional salesperson is looked at as someone who's trying to sell you something. No one really looks forward to going to the car dealership. No one really looks forward going to these high stake sales interventions because of this negative stereotype. So we are going to really try and get rid of that stereotype through these lectures and through this class. I've worked with sales students for several years now, both in my undergrad, my master's, and now in my doctorate. And I've seen students majoring everything from digital design all the way to accounting. Why is that? Well, companies now and firms are not just looking for the degree, because all the degree tells you and all the degree tells the employer is that you know how to critically think, you know how to problem solve, but that's about it, because you're going to learn everything that you need to know on the job. And so what companies more and more are looking for, and what companies have told us as lecturers what they're looking for, are one, people that are good communicators, and two, people that can work well with others. If you're going to be at a company for 5, 10, even though that number is shrinking now, but 5, 10, let's say 20, your whole career, you have to be a good person to work with. And you need those, quote, soft skills, right? And so this self-reflection piece is really going to open your eyes to the world of sales, open your eyes to the world of partnerships and communication and relationships. And we're really looking here to build those soft skills. So we need to change into the quote soft skills. Okay. Now point two. So point two is, once we get that self-reflection down, once we understand how salespeople behave, we can work on self-confidence. Okay, so role plays, reading the book, practicing these sales techniques in a one-on-one setting in front of the class, whatever, over Zoom, digitally, however we end up doing this, it may seem intimidating. And for some of you, it may be just downright frightening, and that's okay. I've seen sales students that have completely lost their voice when the sales call opens. They've sat down, looked at the potential buyer, and just nothing comes out. I've seen other students walk in and absolutely kill it. Everyone's going to have a different range of nervousness when it comes to role plays and things like that. And the one-on-one, the face-to-face that's inherent in sales, that is something that's very unique to the field, and it's very unique to the profession. And as a result, salespeople normally are the big salary earners of the business. And it is for good reason. Salespeople are on the front lines. They expand the reach of the company. They educate customers on new product lines, which means that they themselves have to be very educated on the new improvements of the company. And they expand the firm into new markets. And all of those things are very valuable for the organization. And that value creates pressure. High value normally creates high pressure. And so this self-confidence is going to get you to act under pressure. And it's going to take a mentally strong person to be a solid salesperson. And it also is someone who's comfortable enough with themselves to be able to challenge the thoughts and feelings of the customer, which you're going to see in the challenger sale. And it's also going to take a very strong person to learn from your mistakes. You may make a mistake in front of class and it might be a little embarrassing, but everyone's going to do that. And that's okay. We learn from that. And this is going to be a very safe space for you to execute those role plays and be able to learn from your mistakes. Watching yourself on video is not easy. It's probably some of the hardest things that you're going to do, watching yourself back, watching yourself on video. And so to be able to learn from that is very important, and it's going to build your self-confidence. And so you may be taking this class for numerous reasons. You may not want to be a salesperson after this, right? You may want to sell yourself to a potential employer. You may want to sell your ideas to the board of directors, let's say. Or maybe you're looking to get a raise or promotion someday and you really need to sell your value to the company. All of those things use the same techniques that a B2B salesperson does when they're selling a big ticket item to a firm. Personal selling is about selling yourself, but personal selling is also about growth within yourself to be able to make a big sale down the line. And so the ability to act under pressure and the ability to execute is going to lead to the third and final thing that I want all of us to take away from this course, and that is inner peace to help others. Okay? This course is more about you as an individual salesperson than it is about the customer. Now, we're going to learn about the buying process and how customers think and things like that. But this is more about building you, building your skills, and seeing your own personal growth. Sales is not about necessarily doing everything right all the time, having the perfect open, having the perfect implication questions, having that big need payoff where you're blowing up the balloon and it just pops and it's into a sale, right? It's not so much about that. It's more about getting the fundamentals down, practicing, and learning from one role play and taking that on to the next. Okay. It's also about once you get the self-reflection down, once you get that self-confidence and you have the inner peace to help others, what ends up happening is you take all of this away and you learn that sales are about trust and sales is about likability. I bet you can think of numerous examples where you bought something from someone, not necessarily because it was the best product in the world, but because you trusted the person that was talking to you. that you liked the person that was talking to you. And that is above all else why we get into sales, is because we're forming a relationship. Now, a lot of this is going to deal with big ticket sales, big B2B sales, not necessarily the very small scale sales. And the reason for that is because you could be walking through somewhere and you see a flashy product and it may be $10, $15, and that risk and uncertainty for you is very low. And when risk and uncertainty are low, so let's see, let's make a new page here. And so let's talk for a second about risk. So when risk and uncertainty, when those are low, the likelihood of purchase are high over time, right? Now, when this risk and uncertainty, when those are high, the likely to purchase is low. This is where salespeople create value. When I'm going to a business and I want to sell a brand new website that's going to have a whole new booking system, and it's going to have their employees have to change over to a whole new scheduling software, and their customer base is going to change the way that they used to interact with the business, that uncertainty and risk is very high. And so that's not just a one meeting sale. That's going to be something that we need to build a relationship and work through over time to be able to have the customer be comfortable enough to working with me. And that's the big key, is working with me. Small budget sales are just one-off. You see something in the mall, 10, 15 bucks, and you buy it, you bring it home, you may love it, you may hate it. If you hate it, you kind of kick yourself for wasting $15. But if you're going to implement a whole new booking software for $10,000, that creates a lot of risk and uncertainty. And it also puts your company on the line. And if you're a purchasing agent, it may put your job on the line. That's when getting into a relationship with someone that you like and you trust means a lot. That's what we're going to focus on here. So as you can see, a lot of this stems from creating value. And value is the big key. People buy on value. Get it out of your head that people buy on satisfaction. People don't buy, repeat customers don't buy on satisfaction alone. Repeat customers buy on value creation. What can you provide me? What am I giving up? Those two subtracted from each other, a positive equals value. Okay. And so if we take a moment to think about how goods and services are exchanged from one person to another, we can think about all the sales techniques are involved. And you might be telling yourself right now, you might be saying, quote, I'm a bad salesperson, right? Or you may be saying, I'm not, quote, good at sales. And you may be saying to yourself, Louis, that's why I'm in this class, right? Well, I would challenge you to think of an example where you met someone, you became friends with them, formed a relationship with this person. And then over time, you told them different phrases like, you must go see this movie, or you must go buy this. Or maybe you had a friend over and they interacted with a product or service that you use and you say, this is life-changing. This is so good. Let me tell you why it has XYZ and it's really going to help you out. And man, you really got to check this out. And then that person does. Well, you just made a sale, right? You made the sale on behalf of another company that you don't get commission for, but you just made a sale. You walked through all the same process, but just with a friend. And that's what we're trying to do here. Is this relationship-based selling is what you do every day. You perform relationship-based sales every day. You do. And you could go back and think of all of those times that you have done that. And every one of these negotiations that you come into contact with, you're going to have useful interactions and you're going to have not so useful interactions. And you may have not thought of them before, but on that smaller scale, you use those same techniques. Now, on the larger scale, things become more difficult, again, with that risk and uncertainty thing. And when it comes to class, we are going to be able to simulate those negotiations, simulate those styles, and get you ready for the prime time moving forward, right? And prime time could be, so what are we getting you ready for? We're getting you ready for a job interview. We are getting you ready for maybe a sales pitch. And we are getting you ready for your official sales job. Okay. So personal selling to me is a conversation. And the end goal of that conversation creates equal positive value for both parties. So we have over here, we've got the salesperson. Over here, we have the customer or the buyer, right? Now, this gray area here is that risk and uncertainty, right? That's the gray area that we're trying to minimize for the customer. The end result of this relationship is positive, equal value. And it's positive, equal value for both the salesperson, and it's positive, equal value for the customer or the buyer. You are both going to walk away from this interaction being happy. You're happy that you made a sale, you made money, you helped a customer out, you made them feel good, you helped them solve a problem. And the customer walks away with their problem solved and in a relationship with a person that they can trust, that they like, that they can go to in the future for help. And that's the whole point, right? We are both creating value for each other. And so when a company posts a job subscription, for example, so you have a company over here and they need to fill a job. Okay. That's a problem. They have a problem on their hands. They have a position that doesn't have a person to do that job. And so you, as the salesperson, are selling your own skills, your own value to the company to fill that job. Okay. So that's one way that personal selling can come into, that can actually create value for somebody else. Now let's think of another situation. You have a job, but you want a raise. Okay. So you want a raise, and there's open opportunity to help the company. Why is that? Well, you feel like your value that you bring to the table can help the company if only you had more resources and more incentive. Resources being more doors open up because you can manage more people and you can have them do certain jobs that are going to help the company, and then more capital because you're going to be getting paid more for your time. You've become more valuable to the company. Now you need to sell the company on that because they are now taking a risk. They're paying you more money. They're giving you more control, more power, things like that. You need to decrease that risk and uncertainty in the job. And then, of course, we have the salesperson, right? And so the salesperson is going to visualize problems and create solutions. Okay. And so the salesperson, through questioning, through understanding the situation, being knowledgeable about your own background and your own value that the firm you're representing, or maybe it's your own company, or maybe it's you, that you bring to the table, understanding that and being able to question the customer in such a way that they visualize their problem, and then you can offer up a solution. And remember, this is relationship-based sales with the objective of positive, equal value. So you may have to walk away from some sales. You may not be able to create value for every customer, but that's okay. With that, you build trust, and they'll come back to you in order to work with you because they'll trust you. Now, everyone's different, Buyers are different from one another. You're different from me. I'm different from all of you. And so as a result, we all learn differently. We all perform differently. What may work for me in a sales call may not work for you in a sales call. And that's why reflection, confidence, and this trust building is going to be key, because you're going to figure out what works for you, and I'm going to figure out what works for me. I'm not going to give you any hard and fast rules of how to do sales. It's just the fundamentals that will then improve you as a person. And so that's the scope of this first video, is giving you an outline of what we're going to go through, what I want you to kind of shift your mind into thinking about sales and completely throw all the negative stereotypes of salespeople out the window. And we'll come back in video 2 and talk about the fundamentals of sales and how you can use those fundamentals to make yourself a better salesperson. So thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you in video 2.